In this lesson, we'll cover a very specific type of flow called a superflow and how it helps QRadar run more efficiently. Since QRadar, through the consumption of flow records or through the analysis of network traffic through QFlow appliances, is observing all the traffic on the network environment, it can see particular situations arise. Let's consider the case of where we suddenly start seeing a large amount of traffic from a variety of endpoints all coming to a server in our environment with the same payload. In fact, it's so much traffic that performance is starting to degrade and the server may actually become unavailable. Well, what I've described is the pattern that is commonly called a distributed denial of service attack, or DDoS. Say if there were 3,000 endpoints trying to reach out to the server, normal flow analysis would result in 3,000 different flow records. Well, within QRadar, it's observed that this is a particular type of an attack. So it doesn't make sense to create 3,000 different flow records. In fact, what we will create is what's called a superflow record. And that superflow record will contain 3,000 source IP addresses and a single destination IP address and be stored as a single flow record. QRadar will also do this for two other situations. For instance, consider a single source IP address that's looking for a particular port that is open on any IP address that it's scanning. We'll call that a network sweep. We may also see a situation where a single source IP address is going to against a single destination IP address, but testing every single port to see if there's a service available on them. A classic port scan. These three situations map to the three types of superflows we have: the type A, network sweep; type B, DDoS; and type C, port scan. From the Network Activity tab, within the flow type column, you may see a superflow designated that way by the presence of a red letter A, B, or C. Hovering over that will tell you what type of superflow it is. The benefit of superflow creation is that it reduces the amount of traffic coming from all the QFlow collector appliances, as well as it reduces the amount of disk space required for the storage of these flow records. If we open up the details on a superflow, you can see in the situation of a DDoS, we have multiple source IP addresses instead of a single one, as you would see in the standard flow record, but then only a single destination IP address. Scrolling to the additional information section, you can see that the flow type designates this flow as a type B superflow. You'll also see that there's actually custom rules that are associated with superflows. Now turn to your exercises guide and perform the exercises for this lesson. In this unit, we went over the basics of investigating flow records that are associated with offenses, as well as the overall concepts behind how QRadar categorizes and analyzes network traffic. For instance, we saw that within the flow details that we can actually extract and look at the payload of the information associated with the network traffic. We also talked about how to tune false positives using the false positive wizard, which can be found in the network and log activity tabs. And then we introduced the concept of the superflow.